Today, I'm going to be completing the most Crusader Kings challenge ever, creating a family of inbred abominations, and starting a cult that will make all of the rulers submit to me as their God King. To do this, I'll need to become the most technologically advanced civilization. Oh my god, we've hit 100 development and researched every technology. We're not even 200 years in. Become the richest man on the planet. I literally cannot unpause the game anymore without people just submitting to me as their god and giving us money. Take cult rituals on islands. Okay, so because I'm their god, I have to sleep with this woman, or my subjects will get mad? I only came to the island for fishing, I swear. And destroy every other major religion to exist. Oh, we've captured the Pope! And with my new religion, I can execute him and keep his bones in my court as an artifact? Let's go! And install my mutant abominations as the heads of kingdoms across the planet. Okay, so I've put this son in charge of Constantinople, and just like that, my dynasty is ruling the world. Hello, Ottawans and Ottawads from around the globe. Today I've teamed up with Paradox Interactive to play their brand new DLC, All Under Heaven, which adds all of Asia and tons of new mechanics to the game. And today they've come to me with a challenge to become a God King. Now they're probably expecting a video about a peaceful, loving Buddhist ruler who is so respected and revered, he's seen as a god. But that's not what we're going to do today. No, in fact, I'm going to create the most unholy, evil, powerful, and debaucherous group of genetic abominations this planet has ever seen, and use it for pure evil. So sit back, relax, like and subscribe to support our cult. Let's jump into it. And to do this, I can only think of one man for the job. The lovely Bofri Schmopstein. He's diligent, he's calm, he's ambitious, and most importantly, he's an albino dwarf. Now, Bofri starts down here as the ruler of Pagan. Now, this is a very special holding because there's quite a few special buildings in it, and they're going to allow us to get so technologically advanced, creating a sex cult that allows us to get infinitely wealthy and have tons of mutant heirs. Well, that'll be a piece of cake. So, first things first for Bofri, I'm gonna need to pick a lifestyle. I'm gonna go up the stewardship tree, and I'm first going to grab forced donations, allowing us to extort our subjects. Because what's the point of running a cult if you can't commit financial crimes and get rich from it? Next up, I gotta find a wife, and oh baby, look at this lady.
Very nice, she's a 10.
Our children will be dwarven albino Amazonians, just the thickest red-eyed dwarves you've ever seen. And because we're of the Ari religion, which has polygamy built right into it, I'm gonna be able to pick up some secondary spouses also. Bofri feels right at home, like he's back on the island already. Now, one of the things you'll notice about Bofri is that his government type is the Mandala government type. And what this does is unlock the godlike level of devotion for us, allowing the entire planet to see us as a human deity. Not only that, but it allows us access to the Capital Temple Complex Great Project. And oh boy, is this not completely overpowered. But it's not so simple to get, so we'll come back to this. Now, with the Mandala government type comes a new view, the view of our Mandalic radiance. How willing people are to submit to you as their ruler. It's calculated in 3 ways: your level of devotion, the level of your ornate temple, and finally, your Mandala government's aspect. If we can max this out, all our neighbors will bend the knee to us. And if we look at the available aspects, there's 4 possible aspects to choose from: intrigue, martial, diplomacy, and stewardship. Now, of course, Bofri's going to be one of the richest men on the planet, and for that, we are going to need to go down the aspect of creation. But the most important thing on this screen is the acceptable ways to meet death, which are natural causes and being crucified. Epic. Now, why is the cause of death so important? Well, if we look at the various levels of piety, you'll see we're currently faithful, the second level of devotion. After that, it's paragon of virtue, then religious icon. Following that, we have divine. But there's something special about divine. In order to unlock it, you have to get to religious icon, but then die in an acceptable manner to your aspect. Once we die, we can do the same thing to achieve the level of demigod, and finally a god king. Aha! Submit to Caesarion. So we have our first ruler that's going to submit to us. This guy up here wants to join our empire. So right now he's become our tributary. And as we get more radiance, we'll get more and more of these pop-ups. Actually, let's see if we can just ask other people to become... This guy, man. Jeez, they really updated the graphics in this game. Now, Bofri starts out as the Ari religion, an organized Buddhist faith. And if there's one thing I know about Buddhism, is that they're pretty chill guys. But we're going to make them incredibly evil. So we are going to need to obtain a lot of piety in order to create a new Buddhist faith. One that's a little bit more evil and just a smidge more cult-like. And in order to get a lot of piety, we need a lot of gold to go on pilgrimages and take events. And in order to get a lot of gold, we need a lot of development. You see, if we look at the development of our lands, right now it's pretty bad. Now, having development is very important because when we look at our culture, this determines how fast we can research new technologies. We're going to need a bunch of new technologies, allowing us to make buildings that produce gold. And right now, we only have a 0.42 potential progress each month, and that's because the average development of our counties is really low. Now, taking a look at the main holding here, it has some insane new buildings for us. If we look at the Burmese culture, they have the tenant hydraulic builders, which unlocks all the water management line of buildings. And what are these new buildings, you may ask? Well, it's things like the sacred pool that at the first level give plus 4% development growth and give you increased taxation. At the highest level, this is just broken. There's also the water management building and the Vihara halls building, which also increase our development. But our main holding also has some special buildings, which makes it literally the best county in the game. But we'll talk about those in just a moment. So to summarize everything, we're going to somehow need to acquire some gold, which we will then invest into development, allowing us to research better technologies so that we can build better gold buildings and use that gold to get a lot of piety, reform our religion to a cult where we're the leader, build some of the very special buildings we have, max out our mandala aspect, allowing us to reach the godlike tier of devotion, which should increase our mandala radiance almost to 100, causing all of Asia to want to submit to us as their ruler and god, and then use all of our power to destroy every other major religion in the world. So let's get cracking on that. We also have a new decision here to invite religious exile. They will convert the faith in one of our counties, but increase the development there. It's going to increase our development by 1, is kind of epic. And I'll just come over to my chief priest here and ask him to convert the faith back to my faith. And just like that, we're now sitting at 10 development. A natural disaster is about to hit. Our river is soon going to flood. I can see the downpour coming. This disaster demands my undivided attention. Oh, this is gonna be bad. And if I take this option, it's going to cause me some stress, but my contributions towards disaster recovery is gonna be 10% cheaper. And I'm gonna need lots of gold for this. Luckily, I can extort my subjects, and that should help slightly. I've essentially just gone to my quarters and said, your name's on a list. Give me money or I leak it. 75 gold for financial crimes. You love to see it. Oh my days, we've lost 1/5 of our development. Oh, we've gained limited exodus, meaning that we have minus 0.8 development per month. Oh my days, and this lasts like 50 years. If we look at the holding here, it's in dire straits. This is lower than when we started, but it's over now and we can start a great project to rebuild. And thankfully, this has some crazy boosts. So if we take a look at this great project, there are various things I could sink some money into. If I contribute to survivor recovery, not only will we lose tax burden on this holding, but we'll become a relief hero and gain control growth. And we need to contribute to all of these for the project to start. Luckily, my vassal is willing to contribute to one of these, saving me some gold. There are, however, also optional contributions, and the refugee resettlement one is actually pretty sweet. Not only do we lose a bunch of negative penalties on our holdings, but we also gain refugee resettlement, which is going to reduce building construction costs by 25%. So I'll pick this one up for sure, and we'll be back on track very shortly. The year is 894. I have slowly battled back from that flood. We're at 9 development, and we can finally talk about our special buildings in this holding. For one, we have the Ananda Temple. This is the holy site for our religion. Not only does that give us insane development, but it also gives us plus 3 tax. That would almost double our current monthly income. And finally, we have the Ornate Temple, which at the highest level is pretty insane. However, upgrading this building isn't exactly as simple as just pumping some gold into it. With the new government mechanic, we are gonna have to fulfill a bunch of different tasks to make sure we're worthy enough to complete this great project. So first, I'm going to build this overpowered temple costing 1,000 gold coins. Then I'll worry about our divine temple palace after that. The first thing I'm going to do is reset my perks and pick up Architect, giving me a 10% reduction in my costs. I still have that refugee resettlement from the flood, giving me another 25%. Now I can come over and build this temple for 480 gold coins. That's a $520 savings. Slaps roof of temple. Now, you might have seen these pop-ups on the map. Because we are now of the Mandala government, we have these Mandala rituals. Now, these rituals are just events that happen at these locations, and they want to see their reverent leader at them. And if we take them, we gain piety and legitimacy. As I approach this hamlet outside, a gaggle of midwives greet me. We've all had the same dream, they say. Look at this hunchback girl. A child to save the county will be born if you lay with her. I swear becoming a god king is just making a sex cult. Perfect for our little island boy. I can lay with her. It's gonna cause me some stress, but yeah. Thank Buddha I got home and could go inside again. I hoard myself out for some piety. A bastard board. Oh my, he's a good kid. My acquaintance, have they heard what they call you? They call you Raja Bofri Schmopstein the Short. The Short? What? Preposterous. They must have been talking to my new acquaintance. Mandala Ritual, Divine Witness. My wife and I have not yet been blessed with a child, says the noble. His wife continues, we need you to sleep between us as Divine Witness. Only then will we be blessed with a child. So I have a few options here. I could do more than just witness and bag both of them. Or I could just observe their union and take the iDubbbz route. I've already had one oopsie recently. I think I have to go this route. Okay, so the time has finally come. We have our aspect of creation here, and I can upgrade it to tier 2, giving me more stewardship lifestyle experience, and most importantly, giving me more Mandala radiance. That should knock me up to 19 of 100 and allow me to more easily ask for people to be my tributary. So now that we've gotten 6 subjects, I can now undertake this great project to expand my temple. This is going to increase my Mandalic radiance like crazy and have more people flock to me.
Let's go.
So adding shallow pools will reduce my construction time, and adding decorative domes will give me monthly piety per legitimacy level. So I'm gonna fund the project with what I have. The temple has been expanded to now encompass more shrines and ornaments, all carefully built, all reflecting reverence to me. I think it's probably time we sink some renown into our legacies. Now, this culture has access to the Divine Aspirations tree, which is pretty sick. The second tier gives us an increase to our tributary acceptance. The fourth, increased life expectancy. And finally, it automatically completes one of our Mandala Succession challenges, which we'll cover when we die. Okay, so I've done everything I needed to do. I can upgrade my Mandala aspect yet again. If I want to increase my temple once more and gain even more Mandalic radiance, the only thing I'm missing right now is to have 10 subjects. But I have a bit of a problem. These major empires have kind of popped up and swallowed up all the little tributaries I would normally grab. So I might have to take 1 or 2 by force.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we can enforce our demands down here, which should allow me to plan my next expansion, and we are in really good shape. Rumblings in the deep. Oh, there's gonna be an earthquake. My town is in complete chaos. And now we're down to 16 development with major problems with 4. Oh, actually, it's not that big of an investment. Actually, it's not going to be so bad. Not only am I going to be able to knock off all these negative modifiers, but I'm going to be able to get boosts to my development going forward. So actually, that might be kind of clutch. Let me lock this project in and fund. And we've added all kinds of insane modifiers. So now we're going up at 4.5 from 16, which is very nice. And we ultimately have our great project underway. Right before I die, I'm going to make some money moves. Like we know, the rate at which he's researching things is dependent on the average development of a Burmese county. Our capital is developing very nicely, but the rest of the holdings are not. So those other counties are kind of slowing us down. But what if I could make my culture only exist in this county? If I diverge my culture, my vassals may convert from Burmese to whatever the new culture is. And if they do that, that kind of defeats the point of diverging the culture. But if I had no tributaries, no one would follow my new culture, and it would only exist in my main holding. What I'm about to do is going to look insane. I'm going to release every tributary I've acquired. Boom. And just like that, everybody's left. Now what I can do is come over to my culture and diverge it. And now my culture only exists in my capital. You'll see currently we have a 53% chance to get 0.82 progress per month. Previously, Previously, it was 0.66, and this gap is only going to scale the more developed we get. But now we're left with a problem. I have no vassals left in my empire. And logically, you would think that if you just kick somebody out of your empire, the game would not allow you to bring them back. And logically, you'd be incorrect. I can come over now to everyone that I just kicked out and offer them a status as my tributary. But not only that, a rich tributary, forcing them to pay higher taxes. So that is exactly what I'm going to do now. And our empire is fully back together. It just works. And finally, we have 5,600 piety just kicking around. So I'm also going to reform our religion. And in this faith, I'm going to put in carnal trophies, which is a new tenant I'm so excited to see, where it's possible to gain an artifact when you execute another character. If we're making the most unholy religion, that has to be in our religion. I'm also going to put in Warmonger, which will allow us to have a casus belli against the heathen faiths. I'm also going to add mummification, where funerals yield artifacts, which is quite creepy, but perfect for our cult. And finally, there's always one more law that I have to change. And we're gonna need a good name for our cult. I mean, not a cult. We don't want anybody to know this is a cult. Pilgrims visit his holy land seeking enlightenment and leave with an NDA. All right, let's establish not a cult. Perfect. And we've also hit religious icon this life, meaning that our next life will be able to go up to level 6, a divine ruler. So I think all we have to do now is wait for that sweet release of death. Okay, so we've died and we'll be playing as our lovely son here. A charming man, he became famous for his elaborate feasts and grandiose balls. I am like 8 years old. Okay, so anytime you ascend to the throne under a Mandala rule, you have to go through a series of tests to see if you are as worthy as your father was. And if you fail, you actually lose a level of devotion. Okay, so the first test is a stewardship challenge. Now, Boffrey over here, he's got actually really great stewardship. So we have a 90% chance we'll pass this. There we go. We've succeeded in the trial. The next one is a diplomacy challenge. Should be an easy clap. Oh, beautiful. We passed with flying colors. If not, that would have sucked. Some of our tributaries would have broken free from us. We would have lost a level of devotion and had to spend tons of resources trying to get it back. I am ready to rule. This guy's not so sure. So right off rip, my main goal is to upgrade our Mandala aspect to the 5th and final tier. And I think it would be good to try to secure the Kingdom of Pagan. So that is the plan for this life. Oh, I actually want to try first our funeral for our lovely father. I can gain his heart as an artifact. Yes, I'm going to do it. It's going to live forever. Yes, we have his heart in a jar. Let's go, dude. I now have enough counties to create the Kingdom of Pagan. Oh, baby, does not look beautiful? And at the head of it all, me. And I can also slap my father's heart right here in the corner. I'm also going to employ a couple court positions now. Now, our Cologne Glan, I currently have them on organized court, which is increasing the aptitude of all my other courtiers. However, I'm gonna slap them on developed capital because that's also going to gain me 0.35 development growth. Subsequently, my royal architect is gonna be put on public works, increasing development in my land capital. And if we look at my capital now, we're currently sitting at 18 development with a 10 growth per month. My main capital building has irrigation tanks giving plus 32%. And all of these holdings have at least 2 developments as well in the form of trade ports and the sacred pool. Okay, we've finally saved up 1,000 gold, so I can go ahead and upgrade my Mandala aspect to the 5th tier now. Okay, so another decade has passed and I have enough gold to invest in my main capital building now, upgrading that. As you can see, we've grown our Mandalic Radiance now to 60 of 100 from our level of devotion, our Mandala aspect being upgraded to tier 5, and our temple construction. This means it's much easier for me to offer people like this lady vassalage. You'll see our Mandala aspect does a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, a lot of the times, small counties just pop up and offer me vassalage, making my life easier. But if not, I can use this view here and check whoever's in green, like this person, and they'll submit to me. Easy as you like, that's how I'm growing my empire. Now, I have 900 gold left, and I have a very important play I'm going to make. You'll notice the development in my main holding here is now 33. And over here, there's one more special building in this holding that's going to propel my game to the next level. And that is the university building here. Now, if I can hold this, I can construct the university and it'll give me an increase to my development, my learning per level of fame, my renown, and my lifestyle experience. And I also have a ton of prestige that I'm just going to lose if I die. So I might as well reform my culture one more time. And I'm going to pick up a new tradition, Lord of the Elephants. It'll give my elephants increased damage, toughness, and reduce the cost to pick them up. When I pair that with the tradition we already have, Royal Army, that also increases their damage and toughness, I'm going to be able to build an army of stompy elephant boys that are going to help me fulfill even more of my plans. Okay, so we have died and we're now playing as our son. And now that we have our university up and running, I can send myself to university just to get even better boosts. And I've come of age. I've gained the trait Confucian education because I've gone to university. I've learned the teachings of Confucius. Many great things such as man who walk around with hole in pocket, feel cocky all day. Small room always smell different to dwarf. Wonderful teachings. I think it's time we also find me a good spouse. This lady here.
Very nice, Caesar-chan.
She's hunchback and quick. I am a dwarf albino. A perfect marriage. And we've finished the funeral now for our father. And I can take his heart also as an artifact. And now we have my father's heart and my grandfather's heart. This is definitely not a cult. So what I'm going to do this life is just invest in all of my buildings. You can see that I can kind of max them out and increase my gold income and my development in these holdings. My husband, have you heard what they call you? My wife says they call you elbow high. I mean, I guess it's better than the short. She looks like she's been making YouTube videos on CK3 for 3 years. Okay, so some time has passed. I've been able to save up enough renown to pick up another dynasty legacy. I'm now going to go up the blood tree. The second one will reinforce all congenial traits. My heirs will most likely be dwarven albinos with whatever else I can mix in. So I've got myself a bunch of new wives that are going to be able to produce me some more offspring, one of whom is my daughter, wife, and niece. And the reason I did that is because when you're inbred, the more chance you have of spawning a negative congenial trait. Oh, and I've seduced her. The love a father or husband feels for his daughter, wife cannot be wrong. This is such a cursed playthrough. And we've had a child with our daughter, wife, niece, and lover. Oh, and he's got dwarf, albino, quick, and divine blood. I just have to show this off because I've never seen this before. The year is 1107. We currently have 96 development in the capital, with it growing at 23.0. This is insane. In each of these holdings, I've pretty much maxed out all the development buildings. My sacred pool is giving me plus 24%. My Vihara halls are giving me plus 0.4. And in my main capital, I've also picked up water management tier 6, giving me plus 48%. We have insane boosts to our base development, and then I've stacked quite literally every percentage boost possible over top of this. The elite gamers among you will pause and figure out exactly each one. Finally, man, that took forever, dude. What are you doing? Okay, let's continue. Now, you'll notice that we've recently had a flood in this area. And in that flood, it did kill some of our children, namely this guy. He had a rough life. He was disfigured, one-legged leper, albino, and delicate. And he was swept away in a deadly flash flood. He was having a rough shout. I completed the project to fulfill all the requirements, which gave me some insane boosts to the holding. Memorial Fortification 6, Scholarly Circles, Reconstruction Economic Boom, Reconstruction Development Boosts, Refugee Settlement, Flood Fertility, greatly improved development as well. We are by far the most developed place in the world right now. And if we look at our culture, we're researching at 36% chance to gain 2.2 per month. Now, the 36% is based on our aptitude. And our little guy over here is something of a scholar himself. You can see he's got 56 learning. I've picked up almost every boost I can for it. Like, these are just insane perks. Okay, so I can finally pick up True Ruler. Now, this is going to increase my ability to offer other people vassalage. For example, this lovely lady up here, oh my days. She is of nudist Indian faith. I could simply offer her vassalage, and because we have True Ruler, high legitimacy, and insane Mandala radiance, she will take it.
What did he say?
Welcome aboard. Welcome to the crew. And we've now maxed out 100 development. Now, we are absolutely so stacked that we've researched everything in the early medieval era, and the year is 1041. So what I'm going to have to do to be able to keep researching is visit the Silk Road Market. Now, as you can see, there's a road network from China to Europe where not only goods, but technology and information also flows. And depending on which market you visit, you can unlock new technologies. However, the one I'm interested in is over here in China. If I can pick up this pharmacopoeia technology, it'll increase my lifespan by at least 3 years. So all I have to do is walk there and pass a simple skill check, and this will be sorted out. Okay, so we've walked all the way to the lovely city of Chang'an here, and what is this strange pharmacopoeia? I must know. And we have a 99% chance we learn the technology, and we can now research the pharmacopoeia technology, and Bofri is one of the oldest characters I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't prevent him from having a 19-year-old granddaughter, great-granddaughter, and wife, but he's pretty old. But I've picked up pretty much every boost to your health I can. This guy just needs the sweet release of death, and so do I. I just want to play as my heir. In the meantime, I've also stacked up our solid heir, and he's got some pretty sweet stats himself, not to mention a beautiful wife with the hideous trait.
Very nice, Caesar-chan.
And they've already had some wonderful kids like my grandson and great-grandson, and these absolute abominations are going to rule the planet as gods. And we've died a hollow shell of a man. So we've also acquired the godlike tier of piety. We are considered a god among men. We have 88 Mandalic Radiance now. I've been able to offer vassalage to tons more people, and I literally can't even unpause the game without people offering to submit to me. And this ungodly man has one task and one task only: to destroy every other major nation and secure the most coveted holding of all, Wales, who's done all right for themselves. Chalk that up under things you love to see. So it's time we build out our military. Now we have all of these men-at-arms, but they're not insanely overpowered. I'm going to get rid of them all and replace them with units the Welsh have never seen: war elephants.
Nice.
I've also gone into all of my holdings and built out the blacksmiths everywhere, giving an insane boost to my stationed men-at-arms damage. And we currently have 15,000 war elephants in our army, and we should be ready to declare war. And the first major place we need to take out, the Arabian Empire. So let us declare war now. Okay, and we've got a 100% war score just by taking holdings, so I can enforce my demands down here. And just like that, we took Arabia. Without even a single battle, we've defeated the strongest Muslim empire. They were mostly focused here, and they just took random holdings that didn't matter. So I've granted Egypt away to my grandson, vassal, and best friend over here, and he's a looker. The abominations are taken over. Next up, the Byzantine Empire. I will declare war on them as well for Constantinople. Oh, and we're walking right into smoke them. And I've granted this to my lovely looking grandson. See now, this Pope is looking like he needs to be put in his place. And here we go. Our war elephants invade Rome and... Oh my days! We've captured the Pope, and I can execute him! And that's gonna give me a cardinal trophy for our religion! Let's go! I literally have this guy's bones as a necklace now. What an epic religion, dude. And Rome is now ours. And I can take my lovely son over here and grant him Rome. And finally, I can declare war on Wales here and take the mighty holding here. And we've taken Wales. Beautiful. We can enforce our demands. And we now have a giant portion of the map. The not cultists are quite insane. I've created a dynasty that'll last ages and hopefully populate throughout the world. We can unlock any technology in 3 years. We're making tons of gold. Literally, everybody neighboring me smaller than a duke has submitted to me, and we've pushed all the way up here. That's all I have for today. Thank you again to Paradox for sponsoring this video. If you want to pick up the DLC, my link is in the description. Be sure to give that a click to support me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I have been having so much fun with this DLC. There's tons more videos to come, including this all new one that's going to pop up on screen right now. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
The Ottawa Welshman.
And just a huge thank you to all the YouTube members that have stuck with me through this really tough year. For just $1 a month, they get their name in the comments. Legends like Charles, Hello, Eric, Brian, Anton, and so many more. Thank you guys.
The cousin is the mom.